Well, evening everybody. Welcome to the show tonight. Evening, gents. Well, a bit of a downer overall, isn't it? They think it's all over. Is it now?
It is now.
Probably. But before I sort of get us into things, I want to start off by actually something Gavin pointed out to us in the group chat, actually, from Tatsuki, a post that he made on X that actually hits a powerful message. And actually, I stayed off the social X is mainly where I like to go, but I stayed off that all day today and last night, really, because you knew the negativity that was going to come out there. Yes, it's frustrating. Yes, it's painful. But actually, do you know what? Today, I spent some time with the family, sorted the garden out, kept myself occupied, because you know what? Yes, it is tough. Is there still hope? Mathematically, yes, and I will cling on to that little bit of hope. But let me just go straight in. But first of all, I will say evening, Carl, evening, Andy, Marcus, Gavin, and Steve. A full house of Block 9 people you have with you tonight. So,
Good to see you all, guys.
yeah, so just before I go into that, let me pull up the post. So let me see if I can just make that a little bit bigger, and then let's move these guys and ourselves out the way here. So yes, effectively, so Tatsuki said, Green Army, we are bottom of the league. It hurts. Everyone feels down. But I know how much pressure the players are under. The pressure to win, the fear of mistakes, the responsibility to their team, their families, and this football club. And the hardest part, the endless criticism that follows every defeat. When I was a teenager, I was bullied every day. It drained me physically, mentally, emotionally. There were moments when I lost hope, but no matter how tough it got, Argyle and football were always there for me. Watching Argyle fight against the odds, seeing the supporters stand together, singing with all their hearts, no matter the score, gave me courage. Because of Argyle, I never give up. Because of Argyle, I kept going. That passion, we must never forget it. Players, supporters, all of us, we need to remember why we love football. No matter what happens, we stand by each other. We support each other. We make mistakes. Everyone makes them. Instead of blaming, let's hit each other up. Encourage each other. I'm just going to move the screen because I can't move the bottom. There we go. And when it comes, someone does something great, even if it's small, let's celebrate that. Let's clap. Let's high five. Let's cheer. So I'm just going to go to the second part. And again, let me just change the screen here. Play with courage, not fear. Take risks. Trust your teammates and trust yourself. The worst thing isn't losing, it's losing belief in yourself. Every single one of you has so much potential, more than you even realize. Believing in yourself, especially in tough times, is a battle, but it's a battle you must win. Push yourself, motivate yourself. In the end, the only person who will always be with you is you. Belief spreads. When one of us believes, others will too. When one voice speaks, others listen. And together, the whole team will stand taller, fight harder, and play braver. To our players, we believe in you. Every time you wear that green jersey, you carry not just the hopes of your teammates, but the dreams of every single supporter who stands behind you. The road ahead may be tough, but together we can overcome any obstacle. The chance of survival isn't zero, and as long as there's a chance, we fight. Absolutely. This club has faced adversity before, and we've come through it stronger. Let's dig deep, let's stick together, and do everything we can to stay in this league. We don't give up, not now, not ever. We fight to the very last moment. So don't look down, look up. Don't look back, keep moving forward. And finally, let me change that as well. We climb this mountain together, step by step, no matter how slow, no matter how hard. What matters is that we keep going. Because we are Argyle, Argyle are absolutely formidable. I love this club. I believe in this team. Let's show the world who we are. Come on, Argyle, we can do this. I wanted to bring that to the forefront of tonight's show because it says a lot. There's so many raw emotions, as I said, out there on the social platforms. Some silly comments, some valid points, and some unnecessary, behaviour that goes on out there. But everybody has a chance of freedom of speech. It's their opinion, and obviously hiding behind that keyboard, as some do, is an easy way for them to do that. But what a powerful message. And Gavin, I'll come to you first. And thank you for highlighting that to us. But yeah, do you want to share your thoughts on that?
Much like you, I'm probably going to get another control letter from a certain head of stadia after my sudden outbursts of, I don't know, Tourette's, I think, yesterday, sitting in the grandstand, frustration high, anger very high at times, and then the forlorn back to my seat in Diamond, where you'll be, my heart must bleed for me. I didn't even touch my cheese. That's how bad it was. I'm going to get pellets for that, I know. But I was on the floor like most fans. Brother dragged me out for a few beers. Got in very late. Had a very sore head this morning. Woke up, one of those like realization hangovers of, oh, actually we did lose. And then I did, like you, stayed off social media all day. I was up at 5:30 with the kids, didn't help. Bless them. Daddy's feeling poorly. Oh, yes, he is. I went on the hoe and did all my bits. And I come back, and the first time I opened social media, first 5 minutes, I was like, well, this is what I've been expecting. Every man and his dog, Simon Hallett out, Andrew Parkinson out. Let's drag up all the old mud that we've done over the last 6 months, which disappeared after Portsmouth. Funny that. And then I read that, and it kind of stopped me in my tracks, if I'll be honest. Yeah. And I had to read it twice. And then I responded by saying, it's taken a man thousands of miles away to show other males, and I use those words advisedly, how to support a football club. 100%. And then I just said to him, next time you're over, I'll be the first to buy you a pint and a pasty. I know Tatsiki loves a pasty. And then the next thing I did was share it with the group, and I just thought it was a real sentiment moment, and one of those scenarios where you're just like, if anyone could have smacked the first pitch out of the ballpark without sounding too American, it was that. He went down the wicket, to use a cricketing term, and hit it over the grandstand, first ball. And I just thought, wow, why is it taking Tatsuki, who gets up at 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning before he goes to work, to show many, many, many fans how utterly, excuse my French, fucking ridiculous they are being over our current form. Yes, it's not great, and we're all suffering. But why lash out at everybody else? Why kick your toys? Why stamp and scream like a child? It irks me every week. I'm going to get off my soapbox in a minute. And I just thought, you know what? He's hit the nail on the head. By all means, be upset. By all means, be, have a rant and a scream at the players at the time. But then to go home 4 or 5 hours later, wallow in self-pity and start calling for people to lose their jobs on Twitter is utterly ridiculous. And I just want those people to go into work tomorrow morning and go, oh, what if I have a bad day? Is someone going to ask for my notice? Am I going to be sacked? It doesn't do anyone any good. Especially we've got a young squad, and I think Murin said that 1,000 times. And we'll come on to tactics and all that kind of stuff in a bit, I'm sure. But for me, it was just absolutely paramount, and it just hit the nail so sweetly on the head. So Tatsuki, thank you if you're watching. If you're not, I don't know what time of day it is where you are. Watch this on YouTube, or listen to it on Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thank you so much, because you have led the way from the other side of the bloody world.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to switch back to myself. I think, Carl, I'll come to you in a second next. It is very powerful. And I think, an important factor to remember, and you pointed out some of it, this is people's jobs, and it's very, and mentally, although some of them don't read it, some of them do, it's a tough one. And, you saw out there yesterday, a nervy and edgy start again, and Derby came at us. They got 2 two silly goals which shouldn't have happened, but then we came back, where we would sometimes mentally fold, we came back and tried to we got back into the game, and then we tried, and then obviously got that sucker punch thanks to an awesome harness and fairness yesterday. And I think, there's some of the, as you've alluded to, some of the comments put out there are just outrageous at the end of the day. And yes, look, footballers, Carl, don't they? They pit their, they know what, they go into the game that they love, they do a job that all of us who love football would love to be in that position. And there's an element of, yes, where, they have to take some of that stick sometimes. You've got 16,000 in our case watching you there perform.
17,
you're not always going to do
Mike.
well. Yeah.
Bar 3 people, 17,000.
Yeah, so thank you, Gavin, to be precise. So
Sorry.
Carl, just sort of give us your thoughts on that, and because it is quite a powerful, that is such a powerful statement. And please share, everybody, please retweet that and share it, get it out there.
Yeah, I don't know what the time difference is in Japan, but I've sent him the link for tonight's show, whether he can watch it or not, or watch it later on when he's awake. Then that will be good. But yeah, what great powerful speech from him. I've only just seen it recently, so I didn't see Gavin's message earlier. But yeah, having a read through that, it brought a little tear to the eye, and it kind of hit home. It's not as bad as everyone's going on about. Yes, we've still got a mathematical chance of doing it. Like you keep saying, but funnier things have happened. We all know that we play better against better clubs. We get results when we really, really need to. Who knows? After the international break, Miran's got them for 2 weeks now. If he can install some confidence, time on the grass might be good for us as well. If we go and get 3 points at Watford, everyone will be saying we're back in it again if results go away. So. Yeah, I mean, yesterday was a big blow. I think if we won yesterday, we would have been all sat here all nice and happy thinking, the great escape is on, but it wasn't to be. We got back to 2-2 and I thought, we might go on, push on and get the 3 points, but we just didn't seem to do enough after we got the equaliser. Derby came back into it. I thought Marcus Harness had a fantastic game, as he always seems to do against us. Whether that's for Pompey or when he played for Ipswich, he's a fantastic signing for them.
Always turns it on, doesn't he?
He always turns it on, and he'll probably end up keeping Derby up because I think he's a very tidy player. And also a little shout out to Nick Gianotti. He should be watching tonight because I sent him the link for tonight's show. The Argyle director over in USA.
Yeah,
so hello, Nick, if you're watching.
Evening, Nick. Evening, Nick.
Oh.
Yeah, so Carl, I didn't put you on the big screen until late there.
Right.
So apologies
That's
for
scary.
that.
Yeah, put me back.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, look, and actually, Carl sent us some pictures. He just cleaned. He's got a couple of cars, so was cleaning them with the kids today. Yeah. But that gave you, for those that do like to detail their own cars, takes a long time. But that allowed you to sort of just switch off. I mean, as soon as I got home last night, I said to the guys, I'm muting the group chat with respect because it was a tough one, but you don't want to repeat the same stuff that we are each week, and also you just want to disconnect from it, which Andy, as a counsellor yourself, how important that can be at times.
Myself.
You have to counsel yourself.
I have to cancel myself. Some self-talk, mate. It is what it was. I mean, I feel yesterday that wasn't as bad as the Cardiff game. Funny enough, even though we got a point against Cardiff, Cardiff did everything in the book to ruin the game. But I'm hearing what you're saying, what Tats is saying, and I totally 100% agree with it. But I look on the other side of that as well. I've got a friend that came down from Derby yesterday, Andy Shippo. Welcome, he's in TikTok. He came down, met him at the Hyde Park Social Club before the game, had a good natter with some of his friends. Saw him after the game as well. I was made up for him because, you come down, a fair journey down to watch your team, and he could have gone unhappy yesterday. Or today, because I know he was down last night. What I mean? It cuts both ways. Fans and players are affected by this, no matter what it's like. So big shout out to Derby. Well done, Derby. You did the job on us. We didn't quite cut the mustard. I don't know why I didn't start with Epifemi, but there you go. Yeah.
Andy, just that shout out to Andy. The away fans, the Derby away fans,
Incredible.
probably like Wednesday, one of the best set of fans
Yeah.
we've had at Home Park all season.
100%.
They were noisy. I mean, the euphoria, when you get that sort of late goal, and all throughout the game, Harness was just an absolute nightmare for our defence, and of all the people then that had to get that winner. So
I mean, how many times have we done it? We did it against Derby up at their ground with Sam Cosgrove that time, and we won 3-2 up there. So it just cut both ways, and people, get upset and get angry for whatever reasons for losing the game. Yeah, okay, you're passionate about your club, but it cuts both ways, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I just get your comments in, folks. If you want to give your thoughts, if you haven't seen that Tats post, please go and check it out. We've retweeted it, so please get that out there. A lot of thought and time went into that, and it's very powerful. Marcus looks like he's left us, and he's don't know where he's disappeared to.
He's gone to dry his eyes from the Tats.
Yeah, or he didn't charge his phone again, which would probably be more of the case. So, Steve, just quickly get your thoughts, on that, but also just your initial summary of yesterday.
Well, words deceived me because of yesterday. Those long throws. Thing is, obviously, Harness was very crafty. He's very good at losing his man, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, he was. Yeah, strong, physical.
Three of our defenders, I don't think they knew where to go.
They did. They all went to the ball.
Yeah.
Pure and simple, yeah. All three of them.
God, yeah, it's just frustrating. Obviously, you weren't there, were you? You watched it. You were able to watch it though. But yeah, it's emotional. Let me just split us up back into the group. Oh, wow. I mean, sort of coming on tonight, even when I booked this in, it was very much a case of, God, this is going to be a tough one, isn't it? Because I suppose after such a defeat, it is hard, and I was digesting a lot while I was out doing the garden, went down the park again with the kids, sort of just to appreciate, that football isn't everything. I think, with that for sure. And thanks to Gavin's kids, they were trying to annoy him while he was nursing a big hangover. So
Self-inflicted.
Actually, hangover.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's sort of break down the game a little bit. Obviously, we knew this was a 6-pointer coming into it. Absolutely. We played Portsmouth on Wednesday night and we got our first away win. Everybody was lifted. We thought there's hope. I'm always putting out passionate messages where I can do, because while there's still that chance, I will. I don't like to be generally negative. I'm more of a positive person, but also a realist. But I'll still keep driving the message until it's over. But Gavin, I'll sort of come back to you again. The sort of start of that game was a bit like Portsmouth, where we were a little bit nervy and edgy. Derby came at us. We had the odd bit, but Derby came at us. And yeah, we were just undone by silly goals.
The bit that hurts the most, I think, is we've defended set pieces so well. I mean, how many thousands of long balls, long throws did we defend at Luton away? Thousands, right? It felt like it anyway. Where we seem to have a brain fart, if that's the right phrase, is at home against 6-pointers. And of all the mire I read earlier, I can't remember who tweeted it, so apologies for not referencing you. But there was a tweet from somebody around the points we've picked up from the teams around us.
It was me.
Was it you?
Yeah.
So
put it in our group. Yeah, I'll put it in our group chat.
And I saw it on Twitter, and it was like we've won one game against teams around us. Right, we've drawn a couple and we've lost more. That for me is like, of all the wrong times, and yes, the squad's probably not good enough to survive. And the first 20 minutes opened that can of worms, I think, succinctly and showed us. But to give away such simple goals, and again, the midfield seemed to be like a ghost for the first 35, 40 minutes. And I've said this to the boys, and I don't like naming people, and I'll be as positive as I can. But when we have possession of the ball, and either Katic or Maxi or Such, as it was yesterday, have the ball, you need both your midfielders to drop into pockets to take the ball and be brave, right? And everyone's giving poor Darko JB pelters, and I've just seen a comment from someone on our screen now saying JB shocking. Let me just tell you what I did yesterday as a little scientific experiment, and it was for 11 minutes. And there's 11 minutes of footage on my iPhone. That's why I knew it was 11 minutes and 10 seconds. Every time we had the ball, Jordan Houghton, who is a stalwart of our club and an experienced pro, marked himself against one of their players. So for me, refused to take the ball.
Yeah.
Right? Now, in rugby, if you're up against it and someone shovels the ball onto you and you take a hospital pass, you call them out at the end of the day. And I've played a lot of rugby, and you'd say, that's cowardice. Take the hit. Right? In front of a packed home park, Jordan Houghton needs to do better. I'm not going to say he should be sacked or not play ever again and not fit to wear the shirt. I'm just making an opinion that when you have an experienced midfielder like he is, he's been with us, well, not 8 years, 7 years. It's been a long time. From Chelsea on loan. He has to drop into a pocket because he has the ability to do so, to take the pressure off. When we only have one man who's doing that in Darko, who's 20, who's still learning his trade and playing against seasoned pros, where they've got three in the middle of midfield, we've got two. We're at a massive disadvantage. When we have possession, we've got one in midfield, and they've got three. Right? So no wonder we didn't go through the thirds. And then what happens? Well, I've got no avenue out of midfield, boys, so I'm going to just hook a ball up the line and hope the best. And I'll try and get to Bundu. And to be honest, Bundu worked miracles yesterday to take a lot of throat balls down and find another player. Right? I thought you did exceptionally well. But we missed Randall. Randall came into Diamond before the game, and to be fair to him, stood on the stage and said, I've let the club down. I've opened my trap. I've lost my cool, and I'm out the squad, and I shouldn't be. Right? Yeah. So hats off to one of our own. But if you look at the difference between Jordan Houghton and Adam Randall, Adam wants the ball when he's got two people on him. He wants to be brave. He wants to take the ball and make other people work and blah, blah, blah. He was brilliant at that under Rooney, and he's been doing that really, really well under Miron. You've got to have your pros stand up in times of adversity when you need them the most, and don't go hiding. Now, the 11 minutes of footage was him running around, pointing a lot, saying the ball's going to go that way, the ball's going to go this way, the ball's going to go that way. And then every time there was a break and someone did something, he went, yeah, come on, crowd. Come on, get up. Well, sorry. For someone who's been in the club that long, put your shift in, right? Back your ability, find the space, help out a young man who's running alongside you to take hold of the ball and play through the thirds and get us up the pitch.
Take some responsibility, basically.
Correct. And I hate calling people out. It doesn't do anyone any good. But that's just something that, you know, and the epitome of it all was first half, we had the ball. It was a tussle. One of their players went over and held his ankle like it snapped in six. And he's just put his foot on the ball and stopped the game to let the physios on. We were 2-0 down at the time. Surely, as a pro, you go, it's 10v11 here. I'm getting out of this huddle. We're off, right? And let the referee. It was an ankle injury, not a head injury, so the game would not have stopped. If he was that hurt, he'd have rolled off the pitch. Guess what? 5 minutes later, not even that, 3 minutes later, the guy's sprinting back on again. And we stopped the game to let one of the opposition get looked at by the physios when we could have had the ball and gone through.
Yeah, I just got a lot of really valid points there. Just evening PE, we've had a few in Voodoo evening.
I'm not expecting that to be popular, by the way. It's
just,
and to say Pilgrim Pete, I sit on the halfway line in the old director's box, right, in the bottom of the first tier. So I've probably got one of the best viewings in the ground, and that's what I see. So yes, did JB have a good game? I'm not saying he did.
No,
he didn't. He had a couple of spells in the second half. I thought he perked up and he was brave on the ball, but he took the ball into a crowded area and lost it a lot of the time. His touches weren't great, But you've got to have a boy, you've got to have a guy sat alongside you who's
correct.
got 20 years of experience or 15 years of experience playing football to take responsibility and say, I'm here. I'm going to look after you today on this pitch. And he didn't do that. And that's what irks me more than anything. If people have a shit day at the office, they can have a shit day at the office. The ball bounces off them. They kick it in the crowd. They air kick it, whatever. Right? That happens. We all have bad days. But when you don't take responsibility for your own actions in the middle of the park and you're playing along against a young kid who's coming up through, that's unexcusable in my eyes. And I watched him for 11 minutes on my iPhone. Didn't watch the ball at all. Just watched him. So, yes, I get what you're saying, Pilgrim Petey, and I love having banter with you on Twitter. It's great. But JB had a stinker because he was the only option out. And confidence is a very quick thing. When you do 2 or 3 things bad because you're crowded out, you go down the big greasy pole.
Yeah, I must admit.
He was doing a lot of things, JB, to be fair. He was doing a lot of things right. And as you say, Gav, he wasn't getting that support, was he? He wasn't getting that outlet from Houghton. He wasn't getting that. I don't know where Houghton's head is at the minute. I just wonder whether he's on holiday already.
But you look at FootMob, he got, I think,
7.1. 7, sorry. Yeah, I've got it up here. Yeah, I know. And don't forget that
he had a shocker.
That was the same against Portsmouth, wasn't it? And I think it wasn't until you sort of WhatsApped us, in that first half, and then I sort of am mentioning it, and then I started to sort of pay a little bit more attention. And I think, It was one of those, you could see Katic and Maxi trying to find a pass to someone. JB sort of was tentative, trying to come forward a bit, but he also needs to sort of be able to take the ball up, and Houghton was deep, whereas what you're saying about Randall is absolutely right. Randall will come out away from his markers and say, "Give me the ball then," and help find a player. We've not always been creative from that middle, have we?
But Adam Randall was lost the ball, I think, off memory twice this year in front of our D, and they've scored.
Yeah, Burnley being one. Yeah,
right, fine, but he's got the bollocks to stand there, take the ball, and be brave and get us up the pitch. If you're going to hide away, I can't have that.
You can't fault Randall for effort either.
No, of course not. I think with JB, it was sort of I move over to him from in that midfield. I think for me, JB sort of just looked nervous. When he got the ball, there was again. This is where players, I'm not a brilliant tactician, but creating space and making room for the pass, and it's almost like he was just sort of not sure what to do, and he got caught because of being not dawdling, but not being able to find someone, and then he would get misplaced passes. There were several misplaced passes for him, and I felt with JB it was almost like there was a struggle there, whether it was mentally or just the way we were playing. And I felt at halftime he should be the one that should get changed. And for JB, he's played a lot of games and minutes for us. And actually, I don't know, I haven't looked it up at the time, but he has done so many games back to back. And the other important thing, and Carl, I'll come to you on this next, is he hasn't had a stable partner either, has he? And Gavin's just said to me, yeah, bring this one up, and because we won't hide against the negative comments, but everybody will have a different view. Gavin before I go to Carl, Gavin, clarify your point. You're not saying he had a great game. He had some things he did right.
Listen, JB yesterday probably had one of his poorer games of the season. But I'm saying in mitigation, when you've got a buddy alongside you, you've got to have someone who's going to take responsibility and share the load with you. And I'm going to caveat this: Jordan Houghton is not a bad footballer.
Yeah,
Jordan Houghton's one of the best breakers up of play when we're out of possession in our club. Probably, if we're in League One, he's probably the best at that in League One, right? So he's a good footballer. I am not saying he's bad at all. No. What I'm saying is, when you're in a 6-pointer at home and you're playing with a young kid who's 20 years old, you've got to take responsibility. And I saw him yesterday with my own eyes. This is not a hearsay. This is not a Twitter fad. I watched the footage off through my phone and I watched it back this afternoon. Every time we're on the ball, he marks a player or gets marked out by a player. That cannot be by accident, right? So, yes, PP, as I call you on Twitter, did he have a bad game? Yes, he did. I'm not denying that. The midfield was poor yesterday, all round. Yeah. We were outplayed. There was 3 there against 2. It was sometimes 3 there against 1.25. That's what I'm saying. That just to clarify that.
Clarify. Yeah, no, that's fine. No, no problem. Carl, yeah, what sort of your thoughts on that midfield? We did struggle badly to try and find and make a pass, and it ended up just going out wide.
But it wasn't just yesterday, was it? The midfield. I mean, we've been weak and poor in midfield all season. Even last season, we haven't had a stable midfield duo for a long time. Yes, I've given stick to Randall before, but he is our best midfielder. He might not be fantastic every game, but he is our best. We have missed him in the last few weeks. I don't mind him mouthing off at referees. We all do it from the stands. You know, it shows he cares. He's not, kind of hiding away or not showing passion. That's Adam. Yes, he'll learn from his mistakes. I'm sure he will. Would we have got any better results with him on the pitch the last 3 games? I don't think so. Because I think even when Adam plays with JB, I think Adam takes control of midfield, and JB still has poor games. He hasn't. There's something in him. He has shown a few games where he's capable this season, but he's so far, for me, he's very inconsistent. Yes, he's a young lad. He has played a lot of games. I agree with that, Mike. Maybe that's partly the reason why he looks, fatigued, or he turns like an oil tanker because he's played a lot of minutes. I don't know. Obviously, Leeds saw enough in him to pay 5 million, so that has kind of some benefits to it. But I think if he had someone experienced next to him at Championship level, because I don't think Houghton is Championship level. He's a good League One centre mid. I don't think he's anywhere near the standard of the Championship.
We don't have a standard. We don't have an accomplished Championship standard midfielder in the club.
No, even if JB, I don't know if JB played with Forshaw. Yes, he had the experience. Again, he wasn't the best. He had the Championship experience, but I don't think he was a great centre mid. But if we had a Championship standard centre midfielder in there with experience, he might flourish a bit more. But generally, I thought he was overly poor yesterday, and for large parts of the season, he's been poor. Hopefully
he's played 2,500 minutes this season.
Yeah, it's a lot of minutes. It's a lot of minutes. But then so is Randall. Randall's played a lot of minutes as well.
Just looking it up, 29 games he started, 36 matches. 2,419 minutes, 1 goal, 1 assist, 9 yellow cards, 0 red cards. And I think Andy, just on that point of, where we're just saying how many minutes he's played, a few weeks ago, I was bringing up the same point about Randall, and we were discussing it in terms of, how many minutes they've played, a lot of all these back-to-back games, and Miron was still sticking with Randall, and he's equally then JB, and obviously there's a reason for that, that they persist with that. Obviously Randall, because of the red card, had to be forced to then miss some games. And it was great that he came in and did his bit and said what he said that Gavin has told us in the Diamond yesterday. But it's that when there isn't many options, and Boateng, had to be held back until Music could really get him into his sort of style and routine. It is difficult, isn't it, then, when you don't have that out-and-out experienced Championship midfielder?
Yeah, it's very difficult. I mean, JB, he it's like Carl said, he has got it within him to do some good stuff, and he's even reached out and got a goal this season. But he's got to have the right player beside him, and I thought the only mistake that Music may have made yesterday was having Houghton there beside him. I think he should have had Boateng there to start with beside him, because the two together seem to. I mean, Boateng is a bit more sort of in your face, if you like, and gets the ball forward, and JB's likewise. So, yeah, whether he made that mistake with having Houghton there is another thing. Whether he thought Houghton was going to deal with it, don't know.
Well, Houghton's an experienced pro, right? So if you play a young kid, you play an old head next to him. That's the logic in football, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, Marcus, I love this one. I see Houghton as a Mr. Lardisar Gunnar Graham sort of player, He's very much sort of nicey. He doesn't put himself in there for me. I think Boateng does.
I'm not defending him now, but he's the best breaker up of play I've seen at Argyle for many, many years. If they're playing a system where it's a back 3 or a back 4, one midfielder as a pivot to just break up play and protect the back 4, he's excellent. Yeah. Right? But he gives nothing going forward at all, although his pass did lead to the first goal in the first half, because all I talked about half time was that, and then I went, I'll eat my words. but he doesn't look to get anything going forward. That's my.
So I tell you where I want to do. I want to move on from that sort of situation now, because the more sort of concerning thing as well, you want obviously that strong midfield to help ease the pressure as well, as part of your offensive part on the defense. But those throw-ins, Andy, I'll stay with you still for the minute, but those throw-ins, and I think the first goal, if I recall, was an unnecessary header out by Katic, if I can remember. I haven't gone back through all the highlights, but it was just right. Okay, it was just that was frustrating, and again, Maxi and Katic, have played a lot of games, since returning. Since joining, we've highlighted, should they have also been rested, but you need your big players. You could see yesterday in Katic throughout the game, and at the very, very end, felt exhausted, emotionally distraught. Whatever you look, he was sort of walked off the pitch after being picked back up, I think, by Adin and maybe Nance. For a player that's alone, looked like he really, really cared and was frustrated. And I think maybe there too, Andy, tired legs because they've been asked to do so much when they weren't playing regularly before.
The thing, I think the problem is, Mike, is that we're carrying a player again, aren't we? So we've got two players at the back there who are carrying someone in midfield who's not doing his bit and coming back and helping out. So they're doing extra work that they may not need to do. But you got to stop those crosses going into the box in the first place.
And also the deflections from going into dangerous areas. Yeah,
they've done the job.
Some of the clearances,
brilliantly, and it's no wonder they're knackered. But you've got to have someone helping them out as well, because they can't do all of them on their own. That ball came across the box 2 or 3 times yesterday, and it was but we saw it for the last goal. 3 players going towards one player, and then the ball going into harness and the ball in the back of the net.
That frustrated me, seeing too much of that, and it was quite evident for the third goal.
All carbon copy goals, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. And is that...
What's the Sheffield Wednesday game, obviously, because Sheffield Wednesday did exactly that.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what...
Teams will see that now. Teams will see that now, and they'll try and do that to us even more now.
Yeah, they'll try and exploit the weakness. Absolutely, Steve. I think there's a lot of the other part, and I know I said this to you all at the end, and I sort of put it on TikTok, and sort of like I keep saying, it's there's still points to play for, and these international breaks, can ruin people's forms. I'm sure Eustace is like so frustrated that they're now entering the break, because obviously they're on a good run of form. It's massive for them, but it can also turn those that have had a bad run of form. And I think, sort of mentally, it could help the players a little bit. I think going into those 2 weeks, yes, they need some time off. They need some time with family. Like we said, I've done that today. Gavin has, Carl has, and I know Andy does a lot on the Sunday. It's important because, you need your family and your support around you. But I think getting back in there, and having, some decent time. Because, Steve, it's one of the things we said last time is, since Miron's been in, there's been so many back-to-back games, and the FA Cup causing further back-to-back games that, I think we had that 1 week where he could try and get something on the training pitch properly. He hasn't had that chance, has he?
I think since Music's been in, we've had 3 7-day breaks. That's it in 3 months. It ain't a lot.
No, it's massive, and also it's absolutely right to sort of point out that none of this is Muslich is doing. We are obviously sort of in this predicament because of the situation and circumstances before. However you want to look at the Rooney appointment and want to interpret that, the major injuries that we had to a lot of players, it's been an horrendous
training schedules
season.
As well. Training schedules as well, because a lot of players have been picking up injuries in training prior to Muslit being here.
Yeah, it all didn't help, and I think it's an important point, to sort of touch upon. I think where
have we got the right fitness coach? Have we got the right fitness coach?
Well, I think this is an interesting one, isn't it? Sort of set pieces. If you look at Music has been able to build his team, bringing Adin in, bringing Hubert in, sort of as well from the set piece coach, and we've definitely seen some improvements in those set pieces. We didn't have a set piece coach for ages. You know, it's just, but they just are trying to find time in amongst the rest and recuperation, to try and do that, aren't they? So, how big, Gavin, do you see, what do you expect from this international break? You know, I know I'm coming off the game a bit now, but it's what's done is done there. But from this international break, just on that, what do you expect to see and come out of that?
I think the players need a break. Probably an unfashionable thing to say. I think they probably, if it was me, I'd probably bring the players back in on Wednesday and I'd give them a week and a half. I'd probably work Saturday. And I think the first thing they need to do is get the Packers up. I'd probably show them the Liverpool game, the Man City game, the Brentford game, the Millwall game, the Pompey game, back to back, and say, that's what we're capable of. Why are we getting lost? Why are we brain farting every time we're playing at home in big games? Is it pressure? Probably. I think Miron's exuded to that so far, which is absolutely fine. And then I think it's just play no pressure football. I'd be as ballsy behind closed doors to say, well, we're down, aren't we? So let's just enjoy it. Let's get absolutely set for next year. Pressure's off. Let's go.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you look at the no pressure football we've played out of our skin.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that for me, you know, there is still a chance, you know, and no, I'm not delusional, folks. Maybe I am, but no, there is still that chance. But I think that's my point, is the sort of mentality could just change a little bit. It's like, well, do you know what? Right, everybody's writing us off now. Yeah, we didn't pick up the points we should have done against Derby. That would have kept us in there. A different approach and just mental approach to the game, where you can just say, well, okay, go out. No one's expecting us to now win anything or do anything. Well, we still want them to win some games, obviously. But I think that can be quite a defining factor.
Maybe they'll think now, you know, realistically, yes, it's going to be extremely difficult, and that might relieve some pressure. And we know what we can do when we're not, you know, when we haven't got any pressure, like we did against Man City, Liverpool, Brentford.
Andy,
that might turn the table a little bit. You don't know.
Go back.
Sorry, 1 second, Andy. You're the psychiatrist, right? Let's all lay on let's all lay on Andy's couch metaphorically for a minute, right? Close our eyes and get comfy.
Yeah.
What as someone who's got a psychology qualification and does this for a living, how do you reprogram people's top 2 inches to say, well, you can play 1 week under one set of pressures and not the other? How do you make that consistent? Because the one thing I've been saying, the C word, and not the one that I don't use in the grandstand and don't get letters for, the other one, consistency, is the biggest problem here, right? We've proved we can beat good sides in this league time and time again with this squad, but we can't do it consistently. So what do you do there? How do you reprogram people?
Go on, Andy.
I don't know if you can. You've just got to play with what you've got. So you go into a game, right? Let's take yesterday's game, for example, right? You're going in there. Everyone, all the fans are saying, right, we've just beaten Pompey. We're all world beaters now. We're all, so this is like pressure, heat pressure on the team already, isn't it? Because everyone's expecting us to beat Derby, who are down there with us, right? Haven't won away from home. I think they've only won 1 game away from home, like us. So we're all expecting us to beat them, right? So that mentality is, all the fans are pumped up for it. We were all saying in WhatsApp that we're all pumped up for it. We're all ready to go, and then we go a goal down. So straight away, the fans, you can hear on the terraces, the fans are disgruntled. They're going to go down, right? Then you go 2-0 down. You're thinking, oh crumbs, this is going to be a mountain. And I said to Mike, this is a mountain to climb now. You know, we're down, you know, sort of thing. And so it's a mindset all the way through.
I think it's mindset.
Well, just mindset. Heads drop. You've got to change that mindset. You've got to hit. Miron's got to sort of get alongside the players and say, right, okay, this is the situation we're in. This is what I need you to do. And I think he's trying to get that across from the touchline.
On that note, then, so I'm just reading a comment.
I'm going to show it in a second.
I'll bring it about the substitutions.
Yeah.
When you're sitting there as Miron and Adin, and you've got a proven winner who's got the mind of an absolute beast in our club captain, yeah. Are you bringing him on to say, there's the winning mindset, boys? He's going to come on the pitch and lift everybody. Because 100%. When he came on, I think even Joe will say didn't have my best game, boys. I'm still a couple of yards behind the pace, and he was. But
difference being right between Joe and I think it was Katic who was captain yesterday.
Yeah.
The biggest between the two is that Edwards knows the club. He's very passionate, and I know Katic is as well. But you don't see Katic going, "Come on, give it all that."
No, actually, last couple of games, no. Last couple of games, no. Before that, yes. And that's where I was alluding to earlier. I think he's almost put too much pressure on himself potentially because he wasn't doing that.
He was in 50 minutes before any other player on Saturday.
Yeah.
In shorts and t-shirt, right? Typical. It was about 4 degrees outside, and he went out and he visualized, stood on the halfway line on the centre spot for about 20 minutes before he went back inside, holding a cup of coffee.
Was this Jobo you're talking about? Yeah.
No. This is Katic, right?
Okay.
I think the man is. If you can be too committed, I think it's him. Right. I've played a lot of rugby, a lot of cricket with players that don't stop. Their mind's on it 24/7. They wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. They're shadow batting, whatever. This guy takes his job more seriously than anyone else I've seen as a professional footballer at Plymouth Argyle. He was in. I'm sat eating my soup, looking out the window, going, "Hang on a minute, what's going on here?" And I said to the boys, "Look, he's here already." It's like shit. And then nearly an hour later, the players started to arrive, and you think, "Oh my god, this guy." So I think he just put so much pressure on himself. I think you've hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm leader of this football club. I might be on loan, but I'm leader of this football club. I eat, sleep, breathe, shit, drink the game that's in front of me. There's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes I think you can put too much pressure on yourself, and he probably needs an arm around the shoulder from one of them to say, "Hey, come on, give yourself a day off."
It's got to be teamwork, hasn't it? In the end, Gav, it's got to be teamwork. Like this podcast, right? It's teamwork, isn't it? We're all sort of know what we're doing, but if you're a player on the pitch, you've got to play as a team player, not just an individual. And I think Katic, great player. I'm not knocking the guy. I love the guy. He gives it. He does give it, and I think he's a bit too precise because when he lost the ball yesterday, you could see it in his face. It was like he was angry. He was cross about it because you lost it.
Well, here's another reaction. So, brother tried to pop into the shop straight after the game yesterday, 20 minutes after, whatever it was. Maxi sped out the ground with a face like thunder, got to the top. Adam was trying to get in the shop round the back way. And the old steward's gone, "Oh, hi. Some of these guys have been waiting to sign your shirt." "Not today." Gone.
Yeah. I think he saw Rye coming. That's probably why.
Sorry? Say again?
Saw Ryan there.
No, but all joking aside, there were 2 or 3 players that left very swiftly because the other players were still doing their up and downs. Right, the ones who didn't play a full game. He'd already gone. He left 15 minutes, 20 minutes after the game. I was like, did the guy even have time to shower?
Yeah.
So he was clearly upset yesterday with the result, and he's just got himself out there.
Yeah, I just want to pick up.
It makes you wonder whether there's someone not putting the weight, and we've highlighted it already that someone's not putting the weight in the midfield, and so he's having to do double the work. And I'm just going to lay it out there.
I don't think it's that so much. I think. I think Katic and Maxi, who have that close bond, since they joined, because they both came in at the same time, and obviously they've spoken about that. I think they both, and this is just my view. I think they both felt that they let the side down yesterday with the poor defending, poor decisions. You can't blame Houghton, you can't blame JB for not scoring the goals. The biggest thing was when you sort of look at some of the, and I just saw some of the goals back, but the headers to try and clear it. It might not have been all of them in the melee of it all, but like you're heading it straight back in towards the penalty area, or towards just outside the box centre a goal. I mean, it's just like, oh my life, come on, just get rid of it properly. But I think they've both done. They both probably are upset with each other for their performance. I've left this comment up here because I wanted to. We'll come on to the substitutions in a second because it's an interesting conversations on those. But where Lee and Evelyn Lee says, the long and short of it is all these are professional athletes. They are paid a very good wage and are very well looked after off the pitch. So tiredness is an excuse. I'm sorry, totally disagree. With the amount of and the reason why I disagree is with the amount of back-to-back games, no matter how much they put in, regardless of their wage, every athlete, they go for a spell of where they can't just always constantly perform the way they do. And when Argyle have been under the cosh an awful lot, some of these players, Katic, Maxi, as examples, Pukac, who I felt looked tired before he came off. We'll come on to that in a second. But just someone's put themselves in a position to be able to play the beautiful game and earn a good living out of it. But they're still human, and mentally and physically, that is a toll. And especially when you are losing games, you're not getting the points, the mental side, has a big impact on your physical ability.
If you're a Premier League footballer, and you're getting flown an hour to a game instead of sitting 2 hours on a coach, and you've got a squad of 40, and there's specialist training for them if they're having 2 games within a week and all that, I can kind of have that opinion. But our guys are playing 90 minutes, and then it's like, okay, it's 11:15. We're now getting on a coach from Portsmouth. We all know what that road's like, back to Plymouth. Yeah. We'll get in at 3-4 o'clock in the morning. In tomorrow, lads. 10 o'clock, whatever it is, 11 o'clock for your warm down and for your team meeting and your debrief. And it's an absolute relentless schedule. Yeah. They're at the peak of their physical fitness.
Yeah.
But you know what? I can't say, we can't blame them for being tired. We are not blessed by our geography, and we don't have an airport 6 seconds from our front door where we can just say, hop on a Learjet, boys, and we'll just get you up to the game and get you home again in a jiffy. Doesn't happen.
No, and that's
so. You've got to drive to Exeter to get a plane anywhere. If you want to get a plane to up north,
that's an hour on a coach.
You've got to go to Exeter. So
it's all that, the back-to-back games, the traveling, the hours, it is what it is, and it gets talked about all the time, with us, because of the traveling that we have to do. And also, players, talk about family. Obviously, I got Sophie with me. She loves watching us do this, and and she and some of them are not always close to their family, especially unless they're sort of down here and they're sort of like committed in terms of their contract, so there's a lot of where you come back as well after those long journeys. You get in, probably open up your ex account and regret doing it, and all this sort of stuff, and then you sort of mull on it on your own. You don't have that outlet and all that stuff to sort of be able to express, and I think that's not easy, regardless of all the money. Like I keep saying, everybody, they are human beings at the end of the day.
Psychologically, that's hard to take. If you're saying your name, and we've all been guilty of it, saying, "Oh, so and so's played rubbish today," that's going to affect you big style.
And don't say you don't watch it, because you bloody do as a player, even if you're in with some kind of pseudonym.
You're only human, aren't you? And if you're getting slated on X or Y or Z for whatever reason, then it's going to affect your play, isn't it?
Yeah, and actually, sort of yesterday they did come back, after that, obviously, as we know, to get the 2 goals back. The momentum was with us, and then a talking point that's come up, and I'm just Pilgrim Petey, great timing with your comment as well. Lee brought this up, so Petey says, "Don't think Mumba needed to be taken off because he was having one of his best games seen for a while." And if I recall, it was Al Haj that come on for him, wasn't it? He did have a shot as well, that outside the box. That
didn't that travel?
Yeah. So I mean, Carl, what were your thoughts on the overall subs? So they were better for Pukac. Oh, sorry, Pukac.
Yeah, I've got it here.
Yeah, and then Mumba for Al Haj, and obviously Hardy for Obafemi. So
yeah, I think I'm going to call him PP now. I think PP's bang on. I think taking not Bundu, Mumba off really killed the momentum we had. I thought he was having one of his best games this season. He looked more himself. He looked like he was a decent outlet, and he was trying to get forward, put some balls in the box. And yeah, I don't understand why he came off. I think that killed it for us. Again, Obafemi, I did like that sub. I think Callum Wright, for all his running around and his dedication and his heart, blah blah blah, he just isn't cutting it for me. Yeah, right. I thought Obafemi deserved to come on. I don't know why he was dropped from the Pompey game.
The rumour in hospitality was that he had some kind of stomach bug or something, and that he wasn't quite 100% fit. I don't know if that's true or not.
Right.
Again, players can, if Hardy can run around with a bad back, I'm sure he can run around with a bad tummy.
I'm sure he was. Well, interestingly, after
Not
the
running
game,
to and fro to the
runs,
toilet though.
he did the most.
Yeah,
I've been slating him every week, going on Mikel Obafemi. There he is, blowing out his arse, blah blah blah. He was leading the pack all the way through, and he did extras.
yeah.
It's like you can't write it, so the man's obviously changed, which is cool.
Obviously, Darko JB coming off 72nd minute. I mean, he should have come off a lot sooner for Boateng. I did want to see Joe Edwards come on, so I kind of agree with that one, but not for Mumba. I don't understand the Alcabetta substitution for Pukac. Yes, Pukac looked tired, but he was still putting some dangerous balls in the box.
I think at that, just Carl, on that point, I think though he was struggling to get past his men a little bit at that stage.
Yeah,
To me, it just looked like he started to tire.
Potentially, but there's always that one ball he can spray out from
whip in,
left back, like he did earlier on in the season with that fantastic long range pass when we scored from his assist.
Well, even on Wednesday night.
Yeah. So yeah, the substitutions were questionable. I can understand some of them, but I think some of them didn't need to happen, and I think it did kill our momentum in certain areas of the game. So it seems to me like Miron has to make, like his game changes. He has to make them. Yeah, like he's kind of prearranged.
It's like rugby, isn't it? Oh, we've got to get the seven guys on.
Just sometimes you don't need to make substitutions. I think at that moment in time we were doing okay, and I think if we didn't make the subs, we could have gone on and done something. But I just think there was too many changes which kind of disrupted our momentum, and this didn't really work for me this time.
I agreed with the formation change of going what would have been 4-2-3-1, but I think he should probably have got Remy on the pitch earlier. It's all but I know hindsight, isn't it? You've got 2020.
It's all hindsight, mate, isn't it? It's all hindsight.
Dangly should be my uncle and all the other cliches you can throw at it. But if you brought Al Hajj on the 72nd minute, instead
he was 84.
Yeah, he was 84. Yeah. So if you brought him on with the other three at the 72 and maybe held back Ogbeta or held back Joe Edwards and put him on in that phrase and went 4-2-3-1 and had the extra man in midfield attacking, Al Hajj might have got into the game and might have unlocked the door, because you then have Ryan Hardy on the pitch, Bundim on the pitch, Obafemi on the pitch. You've all got quality, strong, can run in behind. And
the other thing with Hajj coming on though, what I didn't get with Hajj coming on, why did they take Zooks off? Zooks was a threat with the throws. All his throws were going into the box, and that's where
all three of their goals came from throw-ins.
He would have been headbutted by Katic if he took Katic off, I think. And by the sound of it, looking at Maxi's face as he left, he probably would have been headbutted by him as well.
And as good as Cornell's throws were, nobody was getting their head on them, which was disappointing.
No, it's true.
Which is when if Obafemi was on at the same time as Bundu and Hardy, you might have got someone on the end of it,
Yeah.
I think so. The Mumba one is the one that sort of I think irks people the most, and I can sort of see that, because he was sort of getting more and more into the game. He seemed to be sort of showing a huge amount of desire. We had the momentum, as well at that stage. When he got his shot off. So he seemed to have the fire in his belly to carry on and make that impact. But yeah, it's just, I mean, Mumba for you, Gavin, should he have stayed on the pitch? And
on form, but I'm going back to the psychological aspect of this. Our skipper's a winner, and our skipper normally makes an impact when he comes on the field, right? So I can see why it was done. In hindsight, should I think it would have been done? No, because Mumba was probably defensively the best he's been all year as a right back, and he was a big threat going forward, and he was in the mood to take a shot and all that good stuff. So no, I don't think he should have come off. But I can see why they brought the skipper on, because it lifted the crowd at the time. I remember hearing it. Everyone was like, here comes the Messiah. He's on.
He's not the Messiah, he's a very naughty boy.
Yeah, he's not the Messiah, he's a very naughty boy. Well, no,
he could have put Mumba back onto the left-hand side if he's taking Pukac off.
Yeah, that would have worked.
Yeah. He could have put him up. Yeah,
and don't make substitutions just for the sake of it.
So Steve, he did. So obviously in the presser after the game, Miron said that obviously he tried to go for it. I mean, we were all sat
all in.
Those that sat around me were all just sort of saying, like the draw, the point isn't going to be good enough. Now it would have been ideal, but we have to go for it. And so he's saying he did when normally people have a moan for him playing or making the same sort of style of changes. So, I mean, sort of Steve, do you think that's what sort of killed us off in Everton
Definitely.
again?
Yeah, Suits should never have come off either. He was having a good game, and it's picking up points against teams at the bottom. It's going to cost us our status.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think if it had come off and we'd have gotten the goal, and got the 3 points, then suddenly it's a genius thing. But that's just the way it goes. I mean, obviously, just sort of coming back into the match, in that second half, obviously. With Wright, I just want to touch upon these points because we've sort of digressed, and rightly so as the conversation has happened. But obviously straight off the whistle, we take the fight immediately. I don't know how many seconds it was, actually, just scrolling up here.
45, I think.
Yeah, 40. Yeah, showing 46. It was certainly within that minute, with a great bit of play. Sort of actually, in fairness to Wright, he disrupted a ball up in the air, which then fell down to Houghton. And in fairness to Houghton, then got the ball to Hardy, and then Hardy sprinted forward. Wright went like a bat out of hell, and I sort of a bat out of hell. Sorry, but he just as he runs around a bit, as everybody just says, and that's all he does. As Jason, I think it was from the Banana Bus when we were talking about it, he's like Seb Coe, or John actually next to me who goes with him. He's like Seb Coe. Seb Coe runs around a lot, but it doesn't mean he can play football. I said to John I'd shout that out tonight, evening John, if you're watching. But yeah, and then obviously Wright though, although they're not giving Wright the goal, he had to be there and he disrupted the defender. I don't know whether or not he kicked his leg and because it went in a bit odd, certainly, but it went in. And
I just feel so sorry for him. So sorry for him. That goal should have stood. That goal he, potentially could have got has now gone down as an own goal. He's just cursed, isn't he? In his league?
And Luton, so he's now 55 games without a goal, and he scored 2 in the last 4.
How annoying!
Yeah, exactly. But and then obviously we get back into it, and obviously the momentum starts carrying. You could see the difference in Derby. They were making loads of mistakes, pitting balls out, poor passes, and I'm sat there and I'm thinking, we're going to do this. This is going to be another Rooney-esque this season, late showing from us, and we're going to take all 3 points. And then that brilliant drive from Bundu, Hardy pelting it up like a bat out of hell on the right-hand side to get into the box. And then obviously he's taken down. And then
that was a red for me.
Sorry?
Yeah, definite red.
Yeah, well...
there was one guy who potentially could have got there, but it's a goal-scoring opportunity and he's just hacked his legs.
I've seen him given.
It was cynical, wasn't it? There was no intention of playing the ball whatsoever. It just took him down.
I think the best moment was when one of their defenders went down for a head injury, and they were one-on-one.
3v1 with Mumba, and he went, back you go.
But
brilliant.
So possible red. Wouldn't completely disagree. But yes, the free kick, and you're almost like, here we go. And actually, for his first goal, I thought the way he hit the ball down, I was like, he's going to smash this one. Actually, I don't think we touched upon his goal in the first half earlier in the session.
That was a belter, by the way.
Sorry?
That was a belter.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
the first free kick.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And we've seen him.
Wasn't it?
Well, we've seen him do it before, and and I think this is where maybe we're getting a bit more out the set piece coach in terms of picking and choosing these right players to take these corners. How we take them to throw-ins of free kicks. Remember, Randall used to do a lot of these, and we used to put in a lot of, no offense, Randall, but a lot of poor balls in to the box. But yeah. He got his second free kick, and you're like, come on, this is going to be it. And what an absolute belter of a shot. And in fairness to the keeper, an absolute superb save by the Derby count.
I was sat right behind him, Mike, and I literally saw the ball take off. And I grabbed my brother's arm and stood up because I thought he ain't stopping that. It's too quick. And Halvorsen got there with his left hand.
Good save.
Unbelievable save. Because he was stood that side, rightly so. But it was just the pace. I thought that's going to do him. He'll get fingertips, but the force of the ball will go in, and his hand was just like a rock, wasn't it?
Well, he got a fist to it, which made the difference. Yeah, getting a fist to it, definitely helped. And then there was a bit of a scramble to try and get the ball knocked back in off the rebound, but it didn't happen. And then you just thought to yourself, "Oh, come on!" And we all talk about the first goal being so crucial. Yet we came back though after conceding that. But Derby only had one real chance in that second half, and that was the goal. And disappointing again, from a throw in, and then we should have cleared it. Miron's, come out and said that. Many times we had a chance to clear that ball. That gets pushed out wide. I forget the player. I don't know if it was that Elder, whoever it was, gets pushed out wide, and then the ball. And what you saw is there was three players went to him. Sort of Katic came forward, didn't follow the other two, but just left. I mean, Harness and the other guy were just stood there in the middle. Maxi was behind them rather than being able to get in front of them. And then the ball came in and slotted home. And there you go. Sort of good night, Vienna. And there's the 3 points in a massive game.
Very poor. Three people fly to a moth. Let's all be attracted to the ball. Not worry about picking anyone up.
No.
If they got and closed down the cross, you'd have said great defending. But the fact that the cross happens, it just looked like, they were queuing up, weren't they?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Man marking, poor man marking. Simple as that.
Yeah, it's just getting sucked in. They were doing it in the first half. Andy, you alluded to it earlier on in the show. They were sort of three people coming down. Certainly, we could see it on our side at the block 9 where, it was just like, well, we're leaving gaps here. Why are we doing that? And it's almost like it's just, I think, an element of panicking. People trying to think, oh, let's try and cover. Shall I go? And just not looking at what's around them. And I said about it at the start, but Marcus Harness, it was just a nightmare for us all game, and fair play to him, and got his goals. Sorry, go on, Steve.
He's always had a nemesis against us when he was playing for Ipswich, Pompey as well.
Yeah, it's just one of those players, isn't it? Just where it is. I'm just going to bring this comment up. Sort of Gavin, we were talking about this in the group chat to a degree earlier on, but what we are playing is not football; it's headball, says Mark. Hoofing and just poor passing in general. Al Hadj is a football player, and many of the others are not. I think that's what he means by
that's absolutely right as well, by the way. And I think I've said this in some of our earlier lives that Al Hadj, if he's got the right players around him who can play football, we'll see the best of Al Hadj. But when you've got hoofball, when you've got bypassing it, then
Oh, Steve, you got something going on with your computer?
You've got nice lights, Steve.
Yeah.
Lovely curtains.
So, look, Gavin, obviously you've watched, and I think this is important at times to understand, if you do your research, if you go, if you go and look at what Miron's done before at Cercle Bruges, and Gavin, you've done a fair bit of that in fairness recently, haven't you?
Yeah, I've probably watched now nearly 3 hours of footage.
He was hungover at the time.
No, I did a lot of it actually beginning of last week because I was.
Yeah, you did.
Or middle of last week. What sort of drove it really was I was seeing a lot of there's only one style of football, it's hoofball, we're going to get battered in League One. So I just thought, well, okay, where are these individuals, we'll leave it like that, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you want to go, where are they getting it from? Have they watched any of the previous stuff? So I thought, well, I'll just go and have a look. So I pulled up, and I haven't just watched like snippets of goals. I've watched extended highlights, basically, of 20 games, 15 games, probably over that 22-23 season when he took them up, when they went up through the league.
Yeah, and
it's direct, but it's not hoofball. He hasn't got the players to play hoofball. He had a really good 9. He had one exceptional 10. An 8 that was a bit Remy Al Hadj-esque that just drove the ball, got it in space, drove the ball up the pitch. But if you look at a lot of, I sent a WhatsApp to the boys earlier. There's a 3-minute video which maybe you can put on the link.
I'm trying to see if I can download it without. Let me mute myself.
It's one of those situations where there's a lot of low crosses and balls being tapped in. There's a lot of winning the ball high up in the field and then pressing. So yeah, thanks, PP. Yes, it did take a lot of up and unders. Unfortunately, mate, as a tight head prop, I didn't get to see much of it. My head was buried in the mud most of the time. But in his previous style of play, I didn't see much hoofball. Right now, different playing squad, different league, all the other bits that go with it. But if you look at what we recruited, and I know, it sticks in the throat a bit now because it's like, well, it's attacking football and it's this and that. But if they were looking at the Circle of Brews 22-23 highlights, I can see why they said what they said. But going back to all the stuff that's been said about lack of pitch time for training on the grass and all the other bits that go with it, as he literally just said, you know what, we're going to be bloody hard to beat, get the ball at the other end. Hopefully we win the second ball. We've got some talent around and we'll just put as much pressure on the guys and try and score as many goals as we can. Are we going to see proper mirroring ball from July or August or whenever the league starts next year when they've had a good pre-season? You'd hope so. I'm not saying it's definitive, but what I hate laziness when people make opinions of people and then they start digging in, and then there's a pile on normally X, let's be honest. Sometimes on Facebook or Argyle free chat is sometimes a sport for me. I just go on from having a bad day at work and just think, well, at least I'm not any of these clowns. And sorry for those who are on free chat. Well, there are some good people on there as well, actually, who give some really good long explanations about why they say what they're saying. But it feels like you get a good squad, you get the right players with the right ingredients to play the right football. A lot of the goals were pretty much like the goal we scored against Pompey. Ball down the line, ball inside, 1-2 score. Quick, fast. And you think, I could get used to this. But have we got the squad today, and has he had time on the grass today to play that style of football? Probably not. And actually, in that season, he played as much 3-4-2-1 as he did 4-2-3-1. Now, 4-2-3-1, Beidou and Al Haj would come into play, wouldn't they? Because they're both footballers, and you get more time on the ball as well.
Well, I think this is where Lee just bring this comment up. We've sort of said this in previous pods, and it's, you have to remember. Lee goes on to say Miron Muslik as players from 3 different managers, all wanting to do something different. I think give him another year and a big overhaul is needed in the summer, as half of the players here do not fit his style of play. We need to keep 5 or 6 players and let him hang on.
I'd imagine.
Have the start. Let him be the type of players that are needed, is what it says.
Bang on.
Building.
What was that? Sorry,
not build his own team. Then I was trying to guess what you were saying.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, because I didn't realize it cut the rest of the comment off. So I was just looking in the chat. But yeah, that's Carl. That is important at the end of the day, isn't it? And we have to remember that it's he wasn't in a good position. I remember seeing comments like, "Oh, well, we were second outside the 2 places outside the relegation zone or whatever when he took over, and now we're in the relegation and we're bottom." But it's like, oh yeah, sorry, because we were doing so well before Miron joined us, which is why we got rid of Rooney, and all that stuff.
The reason we've actually got one more point under Miron than we did under Rooney.
Gavin's changed his name to Carl.
So, sorry, I'm going to just say this to shut up. But all the teams that are around us couldn't win a raffle if they bought all the tickets when we played under Rooney. Since everybody in the world seems to have managed to start getting form, and we've hung on by our coattails. Sorry,
yeah, it's a good point, Carl.
I'm going to mute myself.
Well said, Carl.
So what was the question? Sorry, Gav, put me
so,
off there.
No, it's hey,
about Lee's comment, yeah.
One thing's for sure is the passion that is shown, and that absolutely comes across. Yeah, no, just the fact that he rightly so hasn't had his players. There's been a lot of chop and change in you. You can't blame him for the situation, and he does need that pre-season, whatever league it's in, to be able to sort himself out.
I mean, some of the sputum that was delivered to him last night at X was way over the top. I kind of get some points. He's been here long enough to kind of implement his ideas and his system, but we haven't got the players here for him to do that. Obviously, he probably wanted a lot more players in January. A lot of them probably didn't want to come here because of the position we were in, which is fair enough. Obviously, we've missed out on some targets which were, obviously out there in the media in January. Obviously, Jatta being one, he could have made a massive impact up front. We didn't get him. That's fine. Bundu stepped in, has done a good job. But yeah, we're not going to see the best from his ideas and his system until next season. He's had a full pre-season, a whole summer on the grass, not just a week, a whole summer. You're getting his targets. Obviously, if the investment goes through in the summer, we'll have a decent budget. So I'm sure he can attract the players he wants. If that's some from Cercle Bruges, brilliant, because he'll know them and they will know his way of play. So yeah, I think we can't judge him until kind of 3-4 months into the season next year. But I think he's the right man for the job. Yes, he's a talker. I like how he talks. We want to, but we want to see some results and we want to see some positive football. I mean, I can't see us going all out attack next season. I just think he needs to adapt certain areas, have plan B, have plan C, and just try and play a little bit more. Because a lot of the games have been poor to watch. Let's be honest. But no, I'm totally behind him.
I'm just going to pull this one up from Petey. So he did tag us, and I've got it up on my screen here. But he said, "I know Steve on your channel loves a good stat. So here's one for you. All 3 clubs that won promotion from League One each year over the 5 years have had a British manager. Not one of them was a foreigner, which is why Petey is noting there about. Well, I don't think so because it will be in the Championship. So I don't know what you're on about there. So
Lead balloon.
Yeah, exactly. So it is one of those. I'm conscious, and do you know what I said to the wife earlier? I don't think we'll last an hour tonight because it's who wants to listen to all the negativity. But I think we're an hour and 25 in, but obviously we had 10-minute countdown. But thank you for everybody that's stuck in and around us. We will start to wrap up now, but. Do give us a follow if you are whatever platform you're on. Go check us out at Block 9 Podcast. You see that on YouTube. Please subscribe. Same on X. Go and give us a follow on there, and please tell your friends about what we do. We just want to bring our version of talking Argyle to you all. So and we enjoy doing that, even when it is more negative than it is positive recently. So Andy, sort of come to you for sort of some final thoughts. I think now wrapping up, we go into that 2-week break. We touched upon it earlier. Chance to sort of get back with families, clear your heads, come back at it, get plenty of work done on the training ground, and then it's Watford up next.
Watford away. I mean, Watford away is a winnable game. Definitely a winnable game. They're a mid-table team. They're not posing much threat to us. I think Gav had it on the head earlier on. We've played a lot of teams down below us and not done well. So maybe playing against some of these top teams like Watford, Coventry, Norwich, all the ones we've got to play, Sheffield United, Preston and Leeds, that might be just what we need, to up our game a bit, So
yeah.
I'm not too negative about it. I was disappointed yesterday. I said I was made up for Andy Shippo because he came down from Derby to see that, and fair play. But I'm not disarmed. I think we've still got something in us, and this 2-week break might just be a catalyst that we have to rebuild and to regroup again. And we'll have Randall
out fighting still, Andy. Yeah, go out with a fight.
We'll have Randall back, won't we? And that will sort of give some more option in the midfield. That's a bit of bite in the midfield. So we have to wait and see. Really, the next 2 games are crucial, isn't it? I think it was Watford and Norwich. Is it Norwich at home park? I forget now. The next 2 games.
I don't have them on to hand, but yeah.
I know it's definitely Watford away, and I know we've got some tough games coming up, but we have got the players there who on their day can raise their game. And we've seen that against Liverpool. We've seen that against Brentford, Man City. Yeah, so let's not give up hope, guys. And guys in the terraces, don't give up hope. To get behind the team.
Yeah, it's you need to come collectively together. I know it's a cliche, get behind the team, and obviously, as Bundu said in his post-match, sort of that lift, the crowd were behind him, and the momentum, shifted to us in that game. I mean, Steve, any sort of final thoughts from yourself to give?
Well, do you remember the international break we had in August, September time? I know this was under Rooney, but we went on a bit of a road, didn't we?
Yeah,
we were great.
Like I said, these international breaks can be good and bad.
We won 3 out of 5 games, didn't we? We won 3 out of 5 games. Anything's possible.
Yeah. I mean, that's the question. Who do we beat as well? Blackburn, Sunderland, teams like that,
Yeah, I know. Luton, and we only lost 1-0 to West Brom and Burnley at the time.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, look, it's why I always try and see the positive side of it. It wasn't like they totally gave up yesterday. They did look shot, and the realization did seem to sink in and hit a little bit. And like we said earlier, that might sort of mentally change their approach going forward, because there's nothing to lose now. Just go for it. Gavin, some final thoughts from you then, please.
Get a mental clear break. I would like to see potentially a change of system. So I'd like to see if Miron can have a couple of weeks on the grass and see if he can implement. I know it's late in the day. I know probably the horse is bolted and it's already in the winning enclosure, having a bucket of water thrown over its back. But go 4-2-3, 4-2-3-1. Put Pusac, Katic, Talavirov, and then either Suchor, Zaranola, Randall, Boateng, and El Hadj in the midfield, but one playing in front of the other, and then the front three of Obafemi, Hardy, and Bundu. If we can get hold of the ball and drive up the pitch a bit more and be more congested in that midfield and be more combative, we might have a different outlook on the world. I don't know, but I think it's got to keep being positive. There's no point in doing anything else, and it will show the mettle of some of the guys now who have already checked out if they think we're already down, and the guys that are putting up a fight for either a new contract or just for the love of the club.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of pressing yesterday, were there? We didn't see that high press that we've seen in previous games.
Yeah, I think there's just bring this comment back in. Harold Evening joins us. So it's that sort of who will we keep? Looking to keep when we go down. If we go down, but we'll come on to that. I was debating saying to the guys actually. Obviously, we do our live lounge session as well now each Thursday at 9:15. So we do that one in the evening to help with all the kids, as you can just see. Sophia joined Carl briefly there. And Sophie sat with me for the bulk of this before Mum's just taken her up to bed. It's almost like equally when you do this, you sometimes need a break, from it all as well. And we'll pick it up and we'll confirm if we do that. There's part of me that says, do you know what, we'll keep the momentum going. Why not? And then in that show, we can talk about the players that we would keep and stay up. And also Andy's got a segment that he's going to do, which we've talked about a lot tonight, on the psychological effects on players and even fans, as we've touched upon, as Tatsuki's a brilliant post that I read out at the start. Please, if you've just joined us, go and check that out. An absolute brilliant statement that you put out about, being together, sort of keeping your and showing your love and support as a community, as a fan base that we have for this brilliant club. I think for me, as we go, into that break, yes, I want to see the time that they can have now to get their self together, regroup, is a word I used yesterday, because it's all for nothing. You can go out now and no one's expecting you to do anything. And I think that's what I like the most, because I think we can still go out there and there's that glimmer of hope. Like I said, the international break can be a negative thing for teams that have just hit form or having form, and likewise those that haven't been having a good run of form. And hopefully for us, it does prove, I should say, to be that case. Also, a little shout out, of course, to Plaguey. I'm going to do that. Obviously, a few.
I thought we had the last of that, Mike.
We want some background music. Didn't the lights have some background music as well, Mike? Come on.
If you're watching tonight, either on your own or with Georgia, good evening. Hope you do get well soon. It does look like he's going to. I think, was it 4 or 5 weeks? Did Miron say? He'll
be back.
He did say that, but he'll be back soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, so it did look pretty painful in fairness. But yeah, to anybody else that's watching tonight, also as Carl alluded to earlier, Nick Gianotti, Argyle director that had joined us from the start. So thank you for that too. Look, we just love what we're doing. But guys, look, it was a tough one. It is a tough one. It's not nice seeing your club rooted to the bottom. But there is always that chance and glimmer of hope, because we're not completely out of it mathematically. But anyway, take it as you will. Look, try and enjoy the break. Try and switch off, spend time with family. Do what you want, do what you do and love doing best. Thank you, everybody. Carl, Gavin, Andy, and Steve, Marcus, who didn't come back in the end, but I'm sure he was still watching. To PE, to Harold, to Lee, to Mark, to Voodoo, to PAFC King, all the others commented, and those that watched as well. We do appreciate it. Merchandise, because talking about people who aren't delivering yet, well, I've sort of I've revised our sort of individual mugs a little bit, and obviously our coasters.
Have you got a
and
Grumpy
also
Loyal one? I
our
want to know if
team
you got a
mug.
Grumpy Loyal
So
mug.
there's Phil
Mike.
Collins there. Look.
Mike,
Phil
is your wife any good at doing phone stands?
Phone stands.
Yeah, for Steve.
For
Rock known phone stand going Steve's way.
Steve, I wouldn't be having that. I wouldn't be having that. But no,
I
hopefully,
need one.
yeah, hopefully over this international break, I can get this all sorted in the end. So looks like we might have had a Derby fan watching the Hawkey boy up the Rams. Fair
Walkie
play
boy.
to you.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, but it's still not done and dusted for you, as I'm sure you know yet. So look, have a great rest of your evening, folks, and we'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone.
See you later.
Good night.